The one without the headphone is better.
Kung wireless, low bat, I think may problema sa charging, ano niya.
We are live.
Thank you, Len.
Thank you, Len. So let's just start sharing our Facebook Live.
Si Cyber Ninja, nandyan ako. Lieutenant Colonel Rod Quinto. Cyber Ninja, good afternoon. From Camp Tinyo, Cabanatuan City. Deputy Commandant of Command and Control Center of the Philippine Army Signal Corps.
Again, magandang hapon sa inyo mga ka-Pix Pro. It's Friday once again. Okay.
Rafi Placido, magandang hapon din.
Let's do a shout out. Wait lang.
Ano nyo yung mga location nyo para malaman natin. So kahapon, nandun ako sa Command and Control Center ng Philippine Army Signal Corps. Graduate, advanced and basic Army Signal Corps personnel, no, for signal course nila. But then, you know, in the Army, Signal is also doing cybersecurity. So we are also, I hope it will push through, but Ben, maybe for the next training, for the threat intelligence especially, there will be students coming from the Signal Corps, either basic or advanced students to be included.
Absolutely, we're ready.
Yeah, it will be a big advantage, no? On top of the traditional modules, they will also take the PIX Pro certified cybersecurity certified professional program.
Excellent. Excellent. Real threat intelligence.
The real one. Not the threat information.
Correct. Correct.
And it's proven.
Mm-hmm.
Proven over and over again.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'd like to say hello and good afternoon to Princess Ramirez, who's watching from Ascot, Baler, Aurora, and also to Rafael Haveliana.
Yes. From Negros Occidental.
Yes.
Rafael is from Negros Occidental. Si JM Emerson Espiritu is watching from Baler, Aurora.
Yes. And you have a fan here, Ben. It's from Kenneth Nortates. Let's go, Kuya Ben.
Oh, our first intern. Our
Yeah.
first hired intern at Resecurity, and he has graduated the PIX Pro course just recently. And we are absolutely thrilled to have him. So shout out to Kenneth. Great job so far, and really enjoy having you as part of our team.
Wow,
Very good.
congratulations to you, Kenneth.
Kenneth is a member of PIX Pro La Union chapter.
All right.
Julius de los Santos Morales, also from Ascot, Baler, Aurora.
Yeah. And Justine, Kyla, Alitaw. Good
Kyle,
afternoon. Yeah, watching from Bacolod.
there is one of our team leaders in the CISO as a service. Also,
Nice.
pro graduate. Si Pres Sherwin of chapter president of PIX Pro Aurora. Good afternoon. Very active chapter, no, under his leadership. And so far, the only chapter with a very active Junior PIX Pro chapter as well.
Nice.
Yep. Mr. Chair, before we forget, shall we introduce the new guy that we have here on the screen?
Mamaya na siguro.
Mamaya na?
Tapos natin mag shout out.
Okay, sige, sige. All
Si
right.
VP Ellen is also watching
Okay.
from NCR chapter na hindi nagmi-meeting. Ang NCR chapter officers. Si Princess Jane Concepcion, also from Baler, Aurora. Ang the Aurora the Aurora chapter is really very active, and so far we have 5 interns now in CISO as a service from Aurora, and above. I mean, to say that they are really good is an understatement. Because combining the attitude, combining the passion to learn and to do the job, and the increasing interest in cybersecurity. So we plan to really put focus in Aurora, because there are more students there who want to also join the cybersecurity profession. Even though they have challenges there like power interruption, and they always get bombarded by typhoons and calamities. No, but the spirit is always up, and that's what we need. That's what we need in this job, in this profession. Ikaw naman, VP Ruby.
Yeah, okay. I'd like to say good afternoon to Cristel Ann Mariano, who's also watching from Ascot Baler. And si Barbs ni Lenny, magandang hapon sa iyo. Si Mariel Rodica from Ascot Baler, good afternoon. And si Alina Morales. Watching from Ascot Baler, si Anthony Cordial and Gabriel Bitong. At si Stephanie Alminario. Yan, from Baler, Aurora. Yan.
Sino pa?
At
Si Alina also is one of our team leads. Very, very seldom you will find young professionals in cybersecurity who finds interest in governance. And Alina and Kershi is the two of them are doing governance, and it's supposed to be a very boring job for many, but for those who understand it and who learn to see the vision, governance is actually the the pillar that makes cybersecurity practice sustainable. Okay, who else? Jello. Jello. Snappy natin na intern from Aurora. Jello. And si Joy. Hello. Alvin. Okay, mamaya naman yung iba. Padami
Yep.
na ng padami. Patrick Sulit. Kuya. Ito, ka-fraternity natin sa Eagles.
May nagtatanong dito, Mr. Chair, si Barbs ni Lenny, do we have a chapter in Taguig City? That's actually part of the NCR chapter, Barbs ni Lenny. So if you're interested, kung hindi ka pa member, then you just drop a message dun sa ating page ng PixPro and we will reply there dun sa mga query mo.
Padami na ng padami nagtatanong ng mga members mo sa NCR chapter.
Yes.
Magpapatawag ng general membership meeting daw.
Yeah, very soon, very soon. Actually, shout out pala kay JC of NCR chapter. Kausap ko siya and he's very willing to be part of our activities sa NCR. At
Nakausap na si
yes,
JC.
nag-usap na kami. Shout out sa iyo, JC. Thank
Si
you.
John, ano yun si John Lloyd. Kaso naging John Castro lang siya. Kasi Cruz siya, di ba? John something Cruz. Hindi siya naging John Lloyd.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, isa pang shoutout kay Bernard Viray, no, ito yung taga-ICEP, Mr. Chair, and he said they will soon have a special chapter, no?
Oh, yung executive director natin is ECE engineer.
Okay. All right. And okay, before we proceed, Mr. Chair, for those who have questions on their e-certificates, just drop no message sa ating Facebook page para malaman namin yung mga, kasi meron dito na meron pa daw hindi nakakatanggap. So, mag-message lang kayo doon. All right? Thank you.
All right. It's time.
Yes. Okay. Can I say four more, Mr. Chair? Si Jerry Kawilan. Magandang hapon mga ka-Pix Pro. Si Wilfred Alvarez.
Si Jerry, ang snappy na AVP ko noon sa Cybersecurity Operations Group ng PLDT.
All right. And si Crisia Vallejos Moral. Good afternoon, watching from Ascot Baler. And si Sherwin is saying, wow, thank you so much, Mr. Chair, for acknowledging our interns. Okay.
We give credit where credit is due.
Okay,
Hey.
Mr. Chair. It's already no, it's 1 minute to 5. So, marami-rami na rin tayong na shout out na ating mga viewers.
It's time.
It's time.
Excited na si Ben mag-lecture.
Yes.
Pagod si Ben.
But do you have something muna na Mr. Chair?
We can proceed with the first part, the introduction of our new executive director. Then we can have Ben. We can introduce Ben and then do the lecture. This is a very interesting topic.
Yes. All right. Go ahead, Mr. Chair. Let's introduce the new guy on the block.
I thought ikaw mag-introduce.
Ikaw. Para mas para mas may thrill.
Okay, so mga ka-Pigs Pro, magandang hapon. As you probably noticed, no, weeks or months already, that was February, March, 2 months. Our previous executive director resigned, and after 2 months, today we are introducing our new executive director. He is my older brother. He started his career in electronics engineering as an electronics engineer, then proceeded and became expert in HR matters. So his whole career after his ECE days is doing HR. He was the HR manager of the Metropolitan Water District of Cebu City, and then HR manager of one of the biggest construction companies in Cebu, and then correct me if I'm wrong, but after that in a big mining company.
Yes,
Until
correct.
he decided to retire. And as you know, when the family calls, you always answer. So introducing our new executive director with lots of expertise in people development, people management, training, career progression, and planning. That is very, very timely, with what we need in our organization, as we are not only providing trainings to cybersecurity trainings to our members, but also helping them plan their careers in cybersecurity. And this is a perfect combination. As you know, in business organizations, HR many years back has already been included in as one of the cybersecurity pillars of an organization. So combining cybersecurity with HR, with training, with lots of experience in planning and development, this is going to be a very exciting next coming years for Pix Pro and for all its members, and especially the chapters. So without further ado, may I introduce our new executive director for the Philippine Institute of Cybersecurity Professionals, Engineer Primo T. Redoble. Bye, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Ruby, good afternoon. Mr. Ben, good afternoon, and to all the viewers. So I'm an electronics and communications engineer, yes. And thank you very much for that generous words. Don't expect too much because, the real testing of the pudding is in the eating. I don't really know what lies ahead in the challenges ahead of Pix Pro. But with all your help, I think we can surpass whatever challenges we have. I have committed myself because not only I am subservient to my younger brother, but I think he's on the right track, helping people, helping the community in a very good way. So I saw your advocacies, and it's very much aligned with my values. So I hope I could make a big difference with Pix Pro. So I'm looking forward to move around and see the people in the field, and see how they're doing and how far we are in our advocacy. So thank you very much and good afternoon to all. Mr. Chair, thank you.
All right, VP Ruby, back to you.
All
Let's
right.
get the ball rolling.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. And once again, welcome to the Pixpro family, Engineer Primo Redoble. Marami na siyang assignment na binigay namin kahapon ni Len. All right, and now let's move on to our topic. And it's entitled Cybersecurity 2025, Adapting to Evolving Threats. And to discuss that, we have speaker all the way from the USA. He is an IT security executive for over 30 years experience in product development, data security, network design, application development, and systems administration. He previously held roles as Vice President, Information Security for Turner Tektronix Incorporated and Director, Product Development for InfoArmor. He started his IT career with Symantec in the antivirus technologies business unit and later became the lead technical architect on the Symantec Security Incident and Event Manager or SIEM appliance. He holds a BA from St. John's College and an MBA from Ashford University. He is currently the Chief Operating Officer for Asia Pacific of Free Security, a cybersecurity threat intelligence provider. Ladies and gentlemen, mga ka-Pixpro, Cebuano, Mr. Ben Wano. Ben, thank you
Thank
for
you.
taking our invitation.
Thank you, Ruby. Thank you for the generous introduction and good afternoon sa lahat to everyone there. I might be a little bit out of sync here today only because it's 2 a.m. here in the US, but I'm going to make every effort to give you the information that you need, especially in terms of cybersecurity and the landscape. So allow me to share my screen. Just 1 second. And let's make sure that that's there. And so I hope everyone can see this slide. Can I just get a confirmation that that is
Yep.
Yep, Ben.
okay, great. I'm going to shut off my video just for in terms of internet bandwidth. So good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me today. My name is Ben Owano. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Resecurity. I am actually based out of Thailand. I'm visiting my family here in the US now, but I do make frequent visits to the Philippines, to Manila, to Cebu, and visit with customers and clients. I really want to give just a very quick shout out to our Hunter backend team because really they were very instrumental in compiling the information and the intelligence that you are going to see today. They are the frontliners. They are the ones who actually deal and engage with threat actors. So the information that I'm going to present to you today really is courtesy of all the hard work that they have done, that they continue to do. Their tireless devotion to cybersecurity and their commitment to excellence to our customers is really what I just wanted to highlight, and just a little shout out to them for all that they've done. So, cybersecurity has become vital to our, interconnected lives here in an age where we are undergoing digital transformation. It's essential. We have to do it. And the Philippines is making big strides in digital transformation, but along with that, we need to have cybersecurity. And I'm talking cybersecurity holistically, not just, blocking of threats or understanding. I'm talking about the whole entire picture. That is the educational aspect of cyber resilience. That employees and consumers must adapt as we go through this digital transformation. Now that we're firmly into 2025, The cyber threat landscape continues to be, increasingly sophisticated and hazardous at the same time. And while people generally feel safer than they did a decade ago, there are still emerging signs that this progress may be at risk. Global cybersecurity concerns are expected to influence public sentiment, policy decisions on a global scale, and it will impact how organizations operate in various regions of the world. The frequency and the sophistication of cyber attacks are projected to increase significantly. We have financially motivated cybercrime, including ransomware and state-sponsored attacks. They will continue to pose serious risks to organization. The rise in these types of attacks is likely to be fueled by geopolitical tensions and the
Ben,
growing capabilities.
Ben,
Yes,
are you still on
yes,
the cover slide?
yes, I am. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
just giving you a quick overview.
All right.
I'll go into each individual deals.
Okay.
So
Just checking.
the rise of these attacks is likely to be fueled by geopolitical tensions and the growing capabilities of the cyber criminals. It really is essential now for organizations to bolster their defenses. And so at Resecurity, we outlined the following trends and predictions for the cyber threat landscape this year based on an analysis of historical data and current activity within the dark web ecosystem. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the operational technology being weaponized. One of the most alarming predictions is that cyber attackers will now have weaponized operational technology environments. Okay, this means that critical infrastructure systems, such as those in healthcare, those in energy sector, water, critical utilities, transportation, could be compromised to cause physical harm or even fatalities. And this shift highlights the need for robust security measures in environments where cyber and physical systems intersect. The activity of groups such as one group we've been monitoring called Cyber Avengers operating in the Middle East, they target the industrial sector. And there was a notable trigger of state-sponsored activity, which we know will likely persist into 2025. So threat actors and nation states will target operational technology environments as a tool for geopolitical dominance and for technological interference, potentially leading to significant damage. And we knew this was going to happen because of all the data breaches, infiltrations, exfiltrations of data, and the fact that threat actors and threat actor groups and command and control botnets still reside in many of the systems without being detected. That just gives threat actors more access into the network. So not only are they controlling IT systems, they're actually getting into the operational, the OT, the operational technologies. And these trends really target critical infrastructure, will only accelerate in both the IT and OT environments. Large action models, LAMs as they're called, okay, they represent a new frontier in artificial intelligence. They're designed to understand human intentions and then translate them into actionable outcomes. However, with any type of advanced technology, they come with inherent risks that organizations must consider. Okay. LAMs are a type of AI designed to translate human intent into action autonomously. Okay. LAMs aspire to be platform agnostic. Their general purpose, action-oriented agents capable of performing tasks across any website or service. A LAM adds an advanced twist to large language models. They rely heavily on the quality of the data that they are trained on. So if the input data is inaccurate, if it's biased or it's incomplete, the outputs can lead to incorrect actions or decisions. Okay, this risk is particularly critical in high stakes environments where decisions based on flawed data can have significant consequences. There is a risk that users may misinterpret the outputs of LAMPs if the model's recommendations are not clearly understood, or if they're taken out of context. It can lead to inappropriate actions being taken. And this misinterpretation can cause a false sense of security or prompt decisions that are not aligned with your organizational goals. So there is, also the fact that possibly when these lambs start to take over, it diminishes our critical thinking skills and, human oversight, potentially leading to poor decision making. So these things have to be considered when we talk about large action models or LAMPs. Identity-based attacks. Okay, as now we are firmly entrenched in 2025, identity-based attacks are expected to become a significant concern in the cybersecurity landscape. And let's face it, for the years that all of our data has been breached, has been infiltrated, exfiltrated, published, republished, this was bound to happen. These attacks exploit vulnerabilities related to users and machine identities. You wouldn't think of, but let me explain what I mean by machine identities. Their prevalence is likely to increase due to several factors. We call this identity sprawl, the rapid growth of identities. And I talked about human identities, right? Your PII, your personally identifiable information, and machine. Because if we examine and look at data at what threat actors have taken, they have not only taken PII, your personally identifiable information, they have also taken and exfiltrated the machine information on which they got that PII. So now that they have this machine information, they are creating a machine identity. All right, they're taking this, and this leads to a bigger attack surface because now not only are they using the PII, they're also using in conjunction with that the machine identity. Reports that we've seen that the number of identities within organizations have doubled over the past decade, leading to unchecked identity sprawl. It's just the promulgation of identities, both human and machine. So the risk of identity-based attacks is going to exponentially increase. And so with the rise of these machine identities, such as access tokens, service accounts, attackers are focusing on these non-human identities. So the challenges for CISOs and security leaders, they must be concerned about the vulnerabilities associated with these machine identities, which can be exploited to gain unauthorized access to sensitive systems. Let's talk AI. Everyone wants to talk AI. It's the key buzzword. The problem with AI is this. We can't even control our own identities, our email address and passwords. So why are we even thinking AI? Well, artificial intelligence serves as a double-edged sword in cybersecurity. While it's used to strengthen defenses, cybercriminals exploit AI to devise more deceptive and tailored attacks. AI enhances phishing tactics. It allows for greater personalization that tricks users into believing emails are from trusted contacts. So it heightens the risk of deception. And AI can also generate deepfakes en masse, producing videos, audios that closely mimic reality. And what it does, it facilitates fraud and it also spreads disinformation. Malware sophistication is rising. With AI and ML, machine learning, contributing to evasive strategies and developing what we call polymorphic malware. That is, it alters its code to escape detection. Okay. Malvertising, which is advertising that has malware, has become very prevalent, with attackers using online ads to spread malware. This approach is perilous as it leverages trust in legitimate advertising to compromise systems. And we see that AI-driven malware will only continue to make traditional AV protection even less effective, as we're seeing now. I simply asked the question to chief officers, chief information security officers, if all the systems that you have in place are really working well for you, why are you still getting breached? And this is exactly why, because the telemetry and the evolution of malware is far greater than what antivirus or malware definition sets can identify. And that is a fact. Ransomware. Okay, we've heard about it. We know what it is. Many of you may not know zero-day vulnerabilities, but let me just quickly explain. Ransomware threats have gone beyond simple file encryption. Modern ransomware often employs double or triple extortion tactics. Attackers encrypt and steal data, then they threaten to release sensitive information unless a ransom is paid. This advancement turns ransomware into a data integrity issue and a privacy and reputational crisis issue. Ransomware is attempting to evolve. And so we must not forget that many forms of extortion motivate threat actors, and defenders must not become fixated on one type of extortion. Okay, they're using double extortion tactics where data is not only encrypted but threatened to be leaked. And we're going to see that as becoming more common. We saw multiple ransomware groups use zero-day vulnerabilities. Zero-day, for those of you that don't know what that is, zero-day vulnerabilities are those pieces of code that are injected that have no known cures, no known fixes, no software updates. They are just a vulnerability that exists. And threat actors use this. They call this zero day because no one has a patch for this particular vulnerability. Okay, it evades detection by cybersecurity solutions and mitigation measures. So what we see now in 2025, there will be rapidly growing ecosystems of zero-day vulnerability brokers on the dark web, enabling and weaponizing cybercriminals with advanced tradecraft. So for those companies, for those businesses that use IoT, Internet of Things, the attack surface for cyber criminals also grows. IoT devices, they often lack robust security measures, and they are prime targets for botnets, which can lead to large-scale DDoS, distributed denial of service attacks, okay, and serve as gateways into secure networks. So the incorporation of these IoT devices into critical infrastructure and everyday life heightens the potential implications of these vulnerabilities. So, IoT has dramatically impacted a company's cyber threat risk profile. It must be protected like any other technology managed either by a SOC, your red, purple teaming people. They require a managed life cycle, just like any other technology. Social engineering and advanced phishing. Yes, despite technological progress, human error still remains a significant security weakness. Social engineering, primarily through phishing and smishing, SMS, okay, has advanced with attackers employing sophisticated psychological manipulation techniques. We know of voice phishing, right, or vishing, which utilizes synthetic voice technology that has surged, and video phishing, Okay, they leverage generative AI for real-time impersonation, and this is anticipated to gain traction this coming year. Given AI, there have been hyper-personalized attacks that have become scalable and profitable. AI-driven phishing campaigns will make existing protections even more ineffective than they currently are. Advanced supply chain, have transitioned from obscure to infamous as attackers target third-party vendors to infiltrate larger corporations. The intricate nature of modern supply chain means a single vulnerability in one component can jeopardize an entire network, effectively circumventing the security measures of the primary target, right? Companies who believe that they can reduce their risk by leveraging suppliers, okay, are incorrect. It is the opposite, actually. When a company outsources its functions to its supply chain, it inherits the risk of the supply chain. Advanced persistent threats. Nation state, highly organized cyber criminal groups deploy APTs for prolonged espionage or sabotage. These threats are identified by their persistence, by their stealth nature, and the advanced methodologies. They often remain undetected while they extract valuable data or actually prepare for significant cyber attacks. These threats will continue to happen unabated, powered by advances in AI. Insider threats. This is one that not a lot of companies and cybersecurity vendors address. But right now, insider threats represent the most insidious danger a company can face. And this occurs when an employee or a vendor uses their knowledge and access to exploit their employer or their customer. Often, insiders possess enough understanding and information to go undetected while carrying out their malicious acts. So, as economies worsen, the insider threat becomes more common and escalates in severity. Additionally, there's a troubling trend of employees seeking specific positions they can exploit for harmful purposes. This problem is not limited to, like, say, entry-level positions. It affects employees and vendors at all levels of seniority. And this threat is becoming increasingly prevalent as global and local economies experience turmoil. Now, firmly into 2025, I'd like to just use a very specific use case. The threat posed by North Korea, particularly through insider threats, is becoming increasingly significant for organizations. And here are some of the key aspects of this threat landscape. Infiltration by fake IT workers. Okay. North Korean state-sponsored actors have been employing tactics that involve posing as legitimate IT workers to infiltrate companies. This strategy allows them to gain insider access to sensitive information and systems. And our research indicates that well over 100 organizations have already been targeted by North Korean hackers using this method, which has been proven effective in stealing money and exfiltrating sensitive data. The thrust here for North Korea is the revenue generation, right? The insider threat campaign not only aims to gather intelligence, but also serves as a mean of generating revenue for the regime. So by infiltrating companies, these actors can manipulate source code, conduct espionage, align their activities with the broader interest of the North Korean government. So these are just some examples of how insiders, and not just limited to governments or, maybe in the military, law enforcement, but really even in businesses where you are multi-jurisdictional, multinational, you really need to take a look at your contractors, vet them properly, coming from an HR background to really do the due diligence on who these people that you are hiring, whether or not full-time or contractors. Quantum computing, another subject that is brand new, but something that we want to bring to the attention of our PIX Pro members. Advances in quantum computing pose a potential risk to current encryption standards. Okay, while it's still currently in the development stage, the rapid progress indicates that organizations must prepare for a future where quantum computing could break conventional cryptographic algorithms, compromise data security. So this represents an evolving threat. Threat actors normally will exploit the easiest means, least access privilege to get into systems, but if they can get into quantum computing resources, that is where we feel they will do the most damage. Cross-domain attacks. Now, this is something that should be on the top of every cybersecurity person, CISO, IT manager, director. As you move from on-premises to a cloud, or if you decide to use a hybrid of cloud and on-premises, cross-domain attacks are emerging as a significant trend in cybersecurity because adversaries are exploiting vulnerabilities across various systems and environments. Okay, cross-domain attacks take advantages of gaps in identity management across different platforms. So you may have endpoints, you have cloud services, you have on-prem systems. Attackers can maneuver between these domains to gain unauthorized access to sensitive information and resources. So this trend highlights the need for organizations to implement unified security measures that can monitor and protect against these threats across all your domains. And because you are adapting to a hybrid environment from on-prem to cloud, the attack surface management is going to be more complex. So, and expand. So this creates new challenges for security teams, making it easier for attackers to exploit vulnerabilities that may exist between different systems. So again, I stressed earlier the need for a unified defense strategy due to this cross-domain threat. There is an increase of geopolitical cyber activities. It leads to more state-sponsored cyber activities, including espionage and sabotage. Organizations find themselves as collateral targets in cyber conflicts between nations, necessitating heightened vigilance and international collaboration. And this isn't just for state-sponsored actors. In today's our interconnected world, an individual threat actor acting alone can conduct an activity that maybe traditionally had been classified as an act of war by a state. This issue has become more complicated as state-sponsored threat actors leverage cybercrime services and mimic the tactics, techniques, and procedures, the TTPs of cyber criminals. So in conclusion, the trends that we see in 2025 reflect a dynamic interplay between technology, consumer, and regulatory frameworks. Okay. Organizations that can adapt to these changes will be better positioned to thrive in an increasing complex landscape. It will be critical to stay ahead of in cybersecurity, but by implementing, number one, and in no order, but education and awareness. Ongoing education to recognize and address these threats is essential. We talk about cyber resilience. We talk about think before you actually press the button or you have an action. Slow down, because this is what the attack is going to be. Okay. Implement layered security, as many companies are already doing it. That is, segregate your networks, segment them, employ a defense and deep in-depth strategy that integrates multiple security controls. Leverage AI for defense, meaning utilize AI not just for threat detection, but also for anticipating and preventing attacks. Zero trust models. So we need to transition from the traditional perimeter-based security to a paradigm where no trust is assumed, making verification essential. And lastly, robust cyber threat intelligence, CTI, efforts to detect and mitigate threats outside the company firewall. And we term this offensive cybersecurity versus just purely defensive cybersecurity, which we show now and we see it just doesn't always work. The cybersecurity landscape will reflect the resourcefulness of both attackers and the defenders. So as threats evolve, our approaches to combating them must also adapt. So remain informed, be adaptable, and proactive is not only advised, but is crucial for survival in this new digital era. And I thank you for your time. I'm open to any questions, comments that you may have at this time.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for that very wonderful topic. It's very well presented.
And actually, the danger is no longer or not limited only to our computers on the ground. No, there is
Correct.
also very recently someone presented the possibility or the probability to be able to hack satellite systems.
Absolutely.
And
Ground modems can be
yeah,
easily brute forced, and threat actors are using satellite comms to deliver their payload as an alternative to traditional internet,
and
communications.
you may remove the sharing now.
Sure. Accept that. Okay.
So they also consider satellite systems as OT, or just like IoT, where it is not possible to run or execute cybersecurity or countermeasures because of the processing power required or needed. So imagine if you have a low Earth orbit satellite that's being used by thousands of or hundreds of thousands or even millions of subscribers, and this can be taken over by a threat actor and use it for their illegitimate purpose. So you will really have a problem, and we haven't really figured out yet how to secure our current IT, OT, and IoT environment. Now we have the satellite systems that's also very vulnerable. So I based on in your one of the items you discussed, the ransomware has really gone from like a sports car, no, from 0 to 100 miles per hour in just a very short timeline. And today, it is being used for two major purpose. One is to make money. Two is to gain leverage for nation states, for other countries. And this is why it's making our job more difficult every day, because on the defense side, uh, we still need to follow the process. You request for budget, you do the POC, you follow the procurement process, which will take minimum of 6 months, probably, no, to approve. And then once approved, you have the deployment timeline. And during the deployment timeline, if you're going to analyze the value chain, there are different groups involved. So there's the network group, the IT group, the business group, which you need to consider that will prolong further the timeline to deploy. So let's say you can deploy in 3 quarters. So imagine what has changed already during that time, right?
Mhm.
So it's something that we are always chasing. It's dynamically changing, very fast changing environment. The moment we're done with the deployment, we need to secure another budget for another, it yeah. When we were in PLDT, that was the job. Every year we deploy, and yet we never really got close to the risk level objective, because every year also the risk is getting higher and higher. It's moving.
True that. But I think, in all fairness, Chairman, I think the majority of vendors are throwing technology and point products to try to fix cybersecurity where it really is a human intelligence problem. And I'll qualify that by saying these threat actors are human beings. They're bad ones. Okay. But if we understand the mindset, we can adjust our strategies if we engage and get that offensive security before bad things happen. I think we're going to be in a better position, not only to, respond, but to be proactive about our security posture. And that's where, I'm coming in saying that, point products have failed. We are still seeing breaches. Why? And we've thrown hundreds, thousands, if not millions of dollars into the cybersecurity, portfolio, but we're still getting breached. And that's a fact.
Yeah.
Agree. Even those companies who acquired certifications,
Mhm.
they certified with the PCI DSS, certified with ISO 27001. They have the NIST framework
Mhm.
fully deployed and operated. But if you're going to review all those companies that have been compromised, they were all compliant. They were all certified. They are all. I mean, their technical teams all went through trainings and all those things. But
Mhm.
it's the pacing that is really the problem. And when we are talking about the pacing, we're talking about time. Time time to improve in cyber defense is so long compared to time to learn to attack and launch the attack.
Mhm.
Tomorrow someone could already have a new idea as to how to compromise a new system, and yet on our part, we'd still be talking about investigating, analyzing, and then understanding the problem. You know,
Mhm.
it's like
Yeah.
it's like the nation state actors. Uh, these hackers are built for chaos. They wage war. That's what they do. But on the defense side, we are all civilians. No, we are talking about incident management. We're talking about risk management. When the adversaries are two types: hardened cyber criminals and active military personnel operating in cyberspace. They're the ones attacking us. So in terms of training, mindset, hardened physical, emotional, and mental capacity, we are already done because we are just civilians. You know, we're worried about our families, what we will feed them at the end of the day, whether we can still send them to our kids to school. So that is the disconnect, and that is why, in terms of approvals, in terms of processes, we follow the civilian manner. I mean, you are in a threat intelligence industry. You've seen how fast the threat actors improve or innovate. What about us? Do we improve? We buy a firewall today. The next time we upgrade our firewall would be 3 years or 5 years because they will say it's still working. Why replace
Yeah.
them? Right?
Yeah.
So there is a huge disconnect between the defense and the offense. And
Correct.
what do we teach our newly grads? Ethical hacking. What can we do with ethical hacking? We cannot defend with ethical hacking. Right? Teach them how to hack. Okay. VP Ruby, I think we have questions.
Yeah, there is a message here from Carl Oliver Nunesa, and he said 2025 state-sponsored activities. Cyber attacks on Taiwan by Chinese groups doubled to 2.4 million daily attempts in 2024, primarily targeting government systems and telecommunication firms, according to Taiwan's National Security Bureau. Attackers aimed to steal sensitive data and disrupt critical infrastructure, with successful attacks rising by 20% compared to 2023. Diba?
Yeah, it
Grabe,
is
no?
really increasing. It's really increasing. But wait until our satellites are compromised.
Oh no, I cannot imagine. There is a question here from Joseph Padua. How important is a robust data backup and recovery plan in mitigating the impact of a ransomware attack? And what are the best practices for backups?
Ben.
Okay. Very important. Very, very important. It should become part of the daily duty because in the event of a ransomware, you're obviously going to go back to your backups. I think such was the case at a health clinic or no clinics in the Philippines where they were, as part of ransomware and everything was exfiltrated and then, encrypted, but their backups weren't good. And their backups were in fact infected. So that doesn't help. So yes, I think, definitely a good hygiene would be to have that, but really more than anything to be able to get the type of intelligence of you're being talked about. We put so much emphasis on defensive solutions. We have defensive playbooks. We know these runtime things when things go bad. Why are we waiting for things to go bad? I've never understood that. And what I promulgate as our company does is getting intelligence and getting intelligence as we call precursors to a data breach. Okay, it's an entirely novel way of thinking, but you can get this. You can find the right vendor who will interact with threat actors as just as an anonymous person and on behalf of your customers and find out these things before bad things happen. Why do you need to wait? Are we totally defensive? Defenses don't win a war. You have to have an offense. Okay. And, having intelligence and data driven intelligence as an offensive weapon can help your cybersecurity posture immensely. Not to mention, it probably is welcomed by your cyber insurance, company as well too. So that's what I'll say on that front.
Well, in addition, I agree that it's really very important. I give you an example. An organization was infected with ransomware. They did not pay because they have the backup. So they cleaned up and restored their backup. It took more than 1 week, and then they're up again. Just to find out the following day that they have been infected with ransomware again. So yes, backup is important, but improving your cybersecurity posture is also very important. Now, what is lacking there is the skills and the talents to identify which part the infection or the intrusion occurred. Because when they cleaned up, obviously they were not able to clean up everything. And the mindset of the threat actor, they already anticipate that you will not pay. They already anticipate that you will not pay and you will recover. They know that. So what they will do when they before they execute the ransomware, they're going to find a place to drop their backdoor. Somewhere you won't be able to find. So when you don't pay and then you recovered, then boom, ransomware again. And then okay, you don't pay again. You recover again, boom, ransomware again. So imagine how much you've spent already. Right? So in the traditional medical environment, we're told by doctors to do not self-medicate. Do not self-medicate. You ask for help. Ask for your doctor's help. You cannot just say, I'm going to drink this medicine without knowing, without properly investigating. And most of the time, the skills and the talent to investigate, right? And when an IT person says they will investigate a hacking incident, that's very dangerous. Because they won't find it. Because the threat actor already know that you do not have that skills. They already profiled you. Unlike before, where threat actors are not that sophisticated yet. So a backup is really going to save your day. But today, the mindset, the innovative thinking, the sophistication is really at the highest level.
Yeah, just like what Kurt Osano said, it reminds me of the quote, in cybersecurity, you have to cover every single threat because our enemies need only one vulnerability.
Or cover every attack entry point. Identify every attack entry point. In every attack entry point, identify what you have and what are the attack techniques that can be launched against that attack entry point. And look for threat intelligence information that can help you improve in securing the attack entry point long before an attack is launched against you. Or understand already if your attack entry point has already been breached by acquiring information from a threat intelligence provider.
Let me just go back to the backup recovery plan. For example, okay, let's say that you have a very successful backup plan, but the very next day, the hackers exposed the compromised data. So, and this is also for the sake of those who are new in the industry in cybersecurity. So does that mean you need to pay because you failed to keep the confidentiality and integrity of the data of your clients? So more than you spending so much for the backup plan, for a successful backup plan, but you still need to pay for violating the confidentiality and integrity of the data.
Ben?
Yes.
Who's the is it for me?
Yes. That is just
Oh, okay. So again, it's a double-edged sword, I would say. Yes, you have backups, but then you're exposed again. It's almost like a round robin where, I can do this, oh, but I can do this. Well, I can do this and I can do this. And you spend a lot of time, just circling back and forth, back and forth. I think if you had the intelligence before where you were actually, the customer was actually being targeted, you would have a little more sense of what to do and how to ensure your cybersecurity posture before it even got to that point, right? Because it's still reactive. The ransomware happens. You should, maybe have known about it, or at least pre-intelligence would have told you that, hey, the threat actor is looking to target these particular industries. If you're in this industry, and let's say that your company or your industry is posted in the dark web, okay, and you're a target, that should be enough for you to say, hey, we lock down our defenses. This is what's happening. Maybe even get more specific intelligence about what exactly they're trying to do. But by the time a ransomware happens, you don't know where the data goes. You don't. I mean, it could be exfiltrated, it could be sold, resold again, bartered in the underground. So, paying a ransom, it's not even 50%, I would say, based upon what we've seen. Well, where threat actors will honor their word that they would, we'll just go ahead and delete it. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, and
It's money.
yeah, if you pay, the problem with paying, you become part of the list of companies who are willing to pay. So there is also a database for the ransomware gangs. No? Okay, this company paid, and because you did not or you cannot improve your cybersecurity posture, then you'll be subjected with more attacks. And because if your data has been published, then the regulators will know that you've been compromised. Then in the Philippines, the National Privacy Commission will launch an investigation, especially if there was a uh, personal information involved in that breach. So in a ransomware attack, it's the only hacking where the victim is penalized at least 4 times. First, pay the ransomware attacker. Next, if you get penalized by the regulator, you pay the regulator. If your investors will sue you because their investment was impacted, then you will pay the investors. And if your customers will file a case against you for failing to protect their information, then you will have to pay your customers.
Yeah.
No? So it's very difficult to make that decision if you are not familiar with the process to follow before making a decision, because it's a long process, and there's a list of things to consider before a company can decide whether to pay or not to pay. And again, if you will rely on your IT people to do that, then you won't be able to consider everything. Then if you decide not to pay, it might be fatal for you. If you decide to pay, it might also be fatal for you. So always the problem.
Thank you, gentlemen. It's now 1 minute to 6. If we can stretch it to 3 minutes more, because I have two more questions here. And very quickly, coming from Keen Moral, do you think AI technology pose more of a threat than a solution in cybersecurity? And the second question is there a schedule for these types of seminar from Ralph Kaindoy?
So if I understand the question, it was, does AI pose a threat versus good versus bad in cybersecurity? The fact of the matter is that it is here. We can't deny it. So we either have to coexist with it or learn it and use it to our advantage. How we use, or how I've seen cybersecurity vendors use AI is to enhance the workflow and the decision-making capacity to a much quicker decision. So let's just say, as an example, you have these threats, you have this points of infection, you have this. AI can be used to leverage the degree of infection, meaning you prioritize what should you do first. Again, AI is going to be only as good as you program it to be with your expected outcome. So you still have to be able to program that and do that. Now, threat actors are using AI to accelerate their attacks. So basically, when they attack, they may use other forms. They may use more processing power in terms of more command and control botnets to attack, raising the DDoS, or the distributed denial of service attacks, and leveraging that, where they actually just bring down systems. Okay, so we have to take a look at AI and say, how can we best use it for what we need to do, and embrace it and move forward with it. And I think, as students of PixPro and recent graduates, that is an area of study that will, become part of your career as you really progress now in AI. As us older folks hand the reins to you, you've got to be thinking out of the box, and you have to, connect the human interaction into AI in order to make it valuable and work for you. That's my thoughts on it.
Agree.
Thank you, Ben. You have additional word, Mr. Chair, on that?
No, well said. I was just gonna say that the next trainings in PixPro, AI will already be incorporated and become part of the curriculum.
All right, thank you. And for the question of this type of seminar, just tune into PixPro page, because we that's where we update all our seminars, conferences, and trainings for that. So that is for Ralph Kaindoy. All right, so
I think the comment of Joseph Padua is very. He said, problem mga boss, yung knowledge transfer ng mga threat actors libre para dumami sila. Sa mga defenders, dahil sa sobrang mahal ng pag-acquire ng skills and talent, kukunti lang talaga ang kayang makadefend ng maayos. Very good point.
Yeah.
I mean, how much does this one certification training that I know, it's not even very effective, no? But I think you need to pay 80,000 or 100,000 pesos to get it. You become certified, and you really learn nothing when it comes to improving your cyber defenses. And others are even more expensive. I think it's $1,000 or even $2,500. So yeah, there is although if you're really interested and you're really determined to learn, Google is your best friend. YouTube is your best friend. I mean, we did not have Google during our time. We learned.
Yeah.
There was no YouTube, but we learned. So it's I think it's a combination of resources and personal decision.
Yeah, all right.
And
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I just need to read this from Jess Tabada. Good afternoon. The presentation is very informative. Thank you very much, Encarda. So
Okay.
thank you,
Thank you.
Jess. All right.
Last comments from
Yeah,
Kuya
Patrick.
Patrick. So if you are in cybersecurity or cybersecurity services, there is no room for you to sit back and relax unless you unplug your system to the internet. But you know, a civilian mindset will not care. After 5 o'clock, I'm done. Uh, it's a weekend. I'm on vacation. Especially the Holy Week is coming. That's very few have that attitude of having the highest level of paranoia. All right, 5 minutes after 6 p.m. Apologies to our guest and to our viewers. No, we are 5 minutes in excess of
Yeah.
our 1 hour.
Yeah, so maraming salamat, Ben. You know,
Thank you. Salamat po.
yeah, hanggang sa muli. All right, until next time, Ben. All right, and to all our viewers, thank you so much for always tuning in to every Friday's Kwentuhan Cybersecurity. And Kuya Primo, and welcome next time, no? Mag-join ka na rin. You'll also be part of the discussion like what we're doing right now. Mr. Chair, please do the
All
closing.
right. So, talking about paranoia, it's Friday again, and gaya ng sabi nila ay happy weekend. Pero alam nyo naman na sa cybersecurity, tayo ay happy
Happy
lang,
lang, walang
walang
weekend.
weekend. Ben, thank you very much, Ben. And
Maraming salamat,
Thank you.
Ben.
soon.
Thank you, Kuya
Thank
Primo,
you, everyone.
Mr.
Thank you
Chair.
very
Thank you,
much.
everyone. Kapix
Thank you.
Pro,
Thank
maraming
you.
salamat.
Sir Ben, thank you.